Hi, in this video I'll be taking apart and cleaning one of the Tineco cordless vacuum cleaners. Now for some of you, especially in the UK, you may not have heard of Tineco before. This is actually a very big brand across the world, and I think here in the UK we tend to be dominated really by two brands. But if you are considering one of these as a purchase against one of the big two brands in the UK, then I would certainly recommend it, because I'll be honest, this is actually my daily vacuum. So this is one that I use on a day-to-day basis, and I'm really impressed by it. I'll post a link here because this is the review I did on it some time ago now, but I thought it's about time I'd give it a good clean, because as you can see there's quite a lot of dirt in here. So really what I want to do is to first of all put some newspaper down. Depending on, I suppose, where you're going to do this, what you need to do is you need to make sure that you're cleaning it in a well ventilated area. Here, this is my workplace at the moment, and this is the utility that we've got. So it's not a kitchen as such, although some people, some subscribers think that I'm doing this in a kitchen. But really all you want to do is to make sure you've got some newspaper down. As I sat there the nearest, then I may as well clean the main floor head first. Let's just detach the pipe, just put that towards the back. So as you can see here, it's had a lot of use, and as you can see there's a lot of dust and dirt underneath. So to take the brush out, to give it a good clean, then all you need to do is just press this button across and then move this lever as it's showing the diagram on the side here. So sometimes they can be a little bit stiff, especially if it's not been cleaned for a while. And just pull that out. So you can see there's a bit of hair around there. So really, to start off with, just, I suppose, pick some of the worst bits off. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get a dry paintbrush. Let's remove some of those bits. So it's just to get the worst off. Now for some people you might want to wear a mask when you're doing this, especially if you're in an area that's not that well ventilated. So just get the worst off here. There we go. And really for the next bit, I'm just going to use a microfiber cloth, and I'm just going to, this is a warm tap, so just get it, that's it, just get it slightly damp. Now for some of my avid followers on YouTube, especially if you've seen some of my other previous cleaning videos, I've got this flexible tap here, and as I say, it's a utility area, and this has actually been very useful over the years. And also the squeaky tap, I've still not fixed it, it's still a squeaky tap. There we go. But all I want to do here is to give it a bit of a wipe out inside with the damp microfiber cloth. Now you will find that, I suppose, over the years, especially on some plastics like this, they've become slightly translucent, or they can be a little bit difficult to get properly clean. But I suppose the vacuum cleaner is using, it's doing quite a dirty job for you. But I always like to try and keep these things clean. Doesn't normally take too long. There we are. So just getting the microfiber cloth just round the other side. Just give it a quick wipe there. There we are. So even after a short time, that's looking a lot better. Now sometimes what you can do is you can use some of these wipes. These are like disposable wipes, and sometimes these are pretty good actually. So let's just take one of those off. Just going to give this a quick wipe out on the outside as well, because sometimes if something is especially dirty, then these can really help. I suppose I'm not too much of a huge fan of disposable wipes, because I suppose environmentally they don't tend to be quite as good. But I'm sure there are plenty on the market that are a bit better for the environment than these are. So even though I've given it a wipe over, with the damp microfiber cloth, and you can still see that there's quite a bit of dirt coming off here. So just finish that off on the outside, and I think basically let's just give the wheels a quick wipe. So there we go, looking a lot better there. I think basically once I've done all these, then I'm just going to put them to one side behind me, because what I don't want to be doing is to clean something and then get it dirty again by cleaning the other parts of the vacuum. So really the next part is this. So this is the main brush bar. Now really, I suppose depending on how long you've had it, you need to keep an eye on it, because you will find that over the years the bristles will reduce in size. So if they become too short, then they're not going to be as effective at cleaning. When it comes to things like getting the hair off, for some people, if you've got hairy members of your family or if you've got pets, then this could look a whole lot worse than this. I have seen some of customers' vacuum cleaners where the brush bar comes in and it's almost really caked up and they're wondering why it's not picking up. So yeah, just keep a close eye on this, because if the bristles or the brushes become too short, then it might just be a case of replacing the brush bar, and then you'll get the performance back. So just hold that down like that, and let's just give it a quick brush. Get the odd long hair off there. Not quite sure where they've come from, because all of myself and the kids have got short hair. So that's that brush down, and again I'm just going to use the damp microfiber cloth just to give this a good wipe down. There we are, looking a lot better. Just give it a wipe on the end there. Much better, absolutely spot on. So I'm just going to put this back in now. So that just goes in one side, and then just clip that, and then with the main floor head we are pretty much done. So I'm just going to put that to one side, and that can just dry naturally. Next one, let's do this one. So this is a dual action brush. There shouldn't be too much to do here, but basically with this all you need to do is press the button in and pull that up. So you've got I suppose it's sort of like an upholstery tool on that side, and then you've got the brush up here. So let's just get our microfiber cloth again. Just give that a wipe over. And let's just get any bits off there. But apart from that, that doesn't really need a lot of cleaning. There we are. Let's just get inside the end there. There we are, much better now. And again, I'm just going to put it behind here so that can dry, and it's just out of the way. Let's just give the microfiber cloth a quick rinse. Don't know if you can see that, that's quite dirty now. But let's just pop that there. Next one, I suppose I can get this out of the way. So the main lance, or the main wand of the vacuum, that doesn't really need a lot doing. So just give it a wipe down. Make sure that's nice and clean. There we are. I must admit that was quite clean anyway. So it doesn't hurt just to give it a wipe down there. So onto the two dirty ones now. Let's do this one. So this is like a mini turbo brush. Different manufacturers call them different things, but all we need to do is to remove that, and let's do it over the paper. Don't want any bits on the floor. I must say, I'm actually really impressed, and this came across in the video when I first recorded it, when I was reviewing this, that to take these apart, ever so easy. You don't need a coin, because with some manufacturers, to take some of the parts apart, you might need a screwdriver, or a Torx screwdriver. Or with some manufacturers, you still need a coin to put in the side to twist, and that will pull out. But not with Tineco. They've almost gone one step further, and they've made it made life a lot easier for me. If you've got a lot of hair wraps around here, I suppose this one isn't actually too bad, but personally I'd recommend just get a pair of scissors and just slide it along there like that. You can use a knife if you want, but I think it's a lot safer to use a pair of scissors. And then once you've done that, then just take off any of the excess hair. This vacuum cleaner, if you're wondering what is actually in the vacuum, and you'll see in the main bin there's quite a lot of straw in there. This is used because my lads have got a couple of guinea pigs, and he's very good at cleaning them. So because they're his guinea pigs, then I do insist that he cleans them, and he is very, very good at it. So despite being a 17-year-old and a little bit of a grumpy teenager sometimes, he's very good at looking after his animals. Does he clean my vacuum cleaner? Of course he doesn't. Anyway, let's give that a wipe down. But a brush down really. It's not wiped down yet, is it? So that's looking a lot better. Get any little bits off the brushes. I want to try and make sure it's as clean as possible. There we are. Then let's give it just a quick wipe there. There we are. So compared to how it was a moment ago, there's the odd little hair on there, but take that off. So that is looking a whole lot better. I'm just going to pop that in the corner so it's well out of the way. And the next one, so this is, as you can see, that really is quite dirty. That's had a lot of use. For this, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to get let's get another wipe. I think sometimes I think it's just easier to start on the wipes. Tend to be a little bit better at getting some of the stubborn dirt off rather than damp microfiber cloth. You can see that comes off really well. Oh, looking loads better. I do like it when I got a nice clean vacuum. And now for the inside part. Give that a wipe round in there. I always recommend when you're taking these things apart, just make sure there are no blockages inside. I know you shouldn't have any blockages, especially not in that shorter distance. But I suppose when it comes to the main wand, then I'd recommend just having a good look down, make sure there are no blockages, because if there are blockages, then you will find that it will reduce the suction or even reduce it to nothing. But anyway, that is looking a whole lot better. So look at that, glistening in the light. So I'm just going to pop the brush back in the end here. So that just locates at the end and clip it. Done. Lovely and simple. So now I've got one lovely and clean mini motor head, or turbo brush as some manufacturers will call them. And now we're on to the big daddy. So we're on to the main body of the vacuum. As you can see here, I did mention earlier that it's used a lot for the cleaning the guinea pigs out. That's why there's a lot of straw here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to empty the bin. Now normally I go over to the bin and empty it, but I just wanted to show you how easy it is to empty. So I'm just going to pop it on here, and so just do that. I've done it on here because there's not a huge amount of dirt in the bin, so all I needed to do was to press the button on the front, and then now I've done that, let's just brush that to the side a little bit so I'm not working around the dirt all the time. And then to take the bin off, you've got a little switch here just by the handle, so you just press that and then the bin will come off like that. So again, ever so easy. Let's just pop that to one side a moment. And for the main body of the vacuum, it's not going to need a huge amount of cleaning. I will just get the damp microfiber cloth. I have given it a couple of rinses in between just to make sure it's not always dirty. So you just want to make sure that's lovely and clean. And on this one, you've actually got a digital display on the top, So when you press the on and off button, it's got some different information, which is actually really good. I must say this is one of the best vacuums that I've tried. So just get the cloth around the inside there. It's a little bit fiddly, but not too much of an issue for me. There we go. So let's just pop that to one side for a moment, because I don't want to get that dirty again. Now we're onto this. So this is really I suppose the main dirty part of the vacuum. You've got the filter inside here. As you can see, that is very dirty at the moment. So really what you want to do, and again I would recommend doing this outside if you can do, just give it a brush to get a lot of the dirt off. So just get the majority of the dirt off, and you can see that even by tapping it there's still a lot of dirt. But what really you need to do is to give this a good wash. I'll just show you on here. So it does say replace every half a year, so every 6 months you need to replace the filter, and also wash and dry monthly. So if you're using it on a regular occasion like I am, then I'd recommend washing it and letting it completely dry. So that's what I'm going to do now, and hopefully you can see there's a lot coming off that. So now that's done, then you'll see that that's okay. It's very wet at the moment, but with this filter I do have to leave it for around 24 hours to dry properly. What you don't want to do is to go and put it back in the vacuum, because what will happen is if I put that in straight away, or even when it's slightly damp, then the moisture within the filter can and more than likely will damage the vacuum. So I mean, what I often recommend is when you buy a vacuum cleaner, I'd recommend to go and buy a spare filter at the same time. Main advantage is that for this exact scenario, that what you do is when you've actually washed the filter, leave it to dry properly for 1 or possibly 2 days, and in the meantime I can use the other filter to carry on vacuuming. But I'm just going to pop that to one side, because again I don't want to get that dirty. So all you need to do is twist that, and the middle part of the bin comes out as well. So in here, all I do first of all is just to give it a bit of a brush out. So this is where a brush, like an old paintbrush, is ideal. Get into some of the nooks and crannies that you wouldn't be able to with a cloth. Again, this is why it's important to do it in a well ventilated area, because there's quite a lot of dust coming off here. And what should we go for? Let's go for the wipe inside. That was a bit dirty now, so let's go for a couple of new wipes. There we are. So never takes too long to do these. I think some people just leave the vacuum cleaners to get dirtier and dirtier, and don't maintain it properly, and then they wonder why the suction isn't that great. I know cleaning it like this doesn't make a huge difference to the suction, but things like cleaning the filters can make a big difference. So you can see the dirt coming off. Let's just twist that round, try and get them most benefit from the wipe, and just give it a quick wipe on the outside. If you have got things like seals, so rubber seals around the bin or wherever it is on the vacuum, then make sure they're nice and clean as well, because for some manufacturers they have a rubber seal, but sometimes a rubber seal just around the bin lid here. That's really important to keep that nice and clean, because you'll find that if that doesn't seal properly, so if there was a slight gap around the side, then you'll find that that will reduce the amount of suction that you'll get because it's not completing the airflow. But anyway, so that's nice and clean now. All I'd need to do is let that dry naturally, really. You can get I suppose a damp or a dry microfiber cloth, should I say, and just give that a wipe out if you want to. Put that somewhere safe. Let's pop these in the bin so they're out of the way. And lastly, we're on to this part. So this is quite a dirty bit of the vacuum. A lot of dust and dirt that accumulates in these. It's not the only manufacturer that this happens to. So just twist it the other way, try and get as much off of it that we can before we start to give it a wipe down. Now with some of these, I suppose you can give them a wash if you want to. Sometimes people want to just give it a quick rinse under cold or warm water. Doesn't really matter which one, but again you need to make sure it's completely dry before you put it back in. There we are, so I'd say we're pretty much done with that now as far as the brushing side. As I've got the cloth here anyway, then let's just give that a quick wipe. Doesn't need too much now. Now I've got a lot of the dirt and the dust off. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to leave it for probably about 15-20 minutes. All of these bits just to dry naturally. I'm just going to go and make myself a cup of coffee. Quite early in the morning when I record this, so at this time of recording it's only around 7 o'clock. I like to do lots of recordings quite early, but yeah, it's coffee time. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to clear all this area, just give it a quick wipe down, and then I'm going to start putting the vacuum back together. So now I've got everything here, then as far as putting the vacuum back together, couldn't really be easier. So we just pop the centre part back in there, just twist it, only a small amount, and then the filter, once it's completely dry, just goes up inside there, and then that will just pop on, and then once that's together, all you need to do is just locate the bin at the top there, and that will clip back into place. So really simple, and basically that's everything done now. So you'll see that all of the tools are a lot cleaner. I'm really impressed with that, how quick it was to do it. There's not a huge amount of maintenance that you need to do. As I said, the only thing that you really need to do on a monthly basis is make sure the filters are nice and clean. Hope you enjoyed this quick video on cleaning of the Tineco Cordless vacuum cleaner. As I say, this is my daily one, and it needed doing quite badly, so I'm glad it's all done and nice and clean now. Would appreciate it if you subscribe to my YouTube channel. Just give us a quick thumbs up, click subscribe, leave any comments below. If you've got any comments on the video, whether I've not done something right or whether you would have changed it, how you've done it, but just let me know in the comments what you thought about it. Thanks very much for joining me today.